Hello and welcome to Money for Economics episode 18. In this episode, we'll talk about sports. If you want to get in touch, my email is in the top left corner of the screen. So, um, sports, they make up a large part of people's lives. Obviously, not just people watching other players play and get inspired, but also one very important thing is to have to have the population the ability to become really good sports players. So, Obviously, the more sports people play, the better they get at them. But that works twice as well for the youth because the youth training sports in your youth will make you much better than if you just start training sports when you're um, when you're an adult, young adult, or old adult. Um, So to that effect, we should be able to offer sports services, so services to play sports, to train sports, to become good, gain experience, etc. And we have to extend that to down to where realistically, where the children are really small. So we're talking primary school levels and up. Um, so these kids, when they start doing sports, they'll get really good at them. They'll be able to compete in certain leagues, etc., etc. University sports, they may also be pooled to which professional leagues recruit from. So university sports will need very good infrastructure, probably near in quality to professional leagues. Boarding schools for sports should also be available, particularly if the parents think that the children or if the children want to do much more sports than they can, and just a regular state school. Boarding schools will be necessary for sports for that. So we come to the question of certain sports clubs. They're some of them are privately owned, some of them are state owned, or some of them are owned by shareholders. Depends which country you're in. But obviously we need a lot of sports infrastructure. So I'm talking Olympic stadiums for football competitions because football is probably the most famous world sport, and having these mega stadiums, Olympic stadiums, it allows the country to become a host for sports competitions. And what that does is that brings tourist opportunities, etc., etc. Sports fields should be extended, of course. So they should start at primary school. There should pretty much go with all the way through secondary school, university, and obviously sometimes corporations, they may have their own sports clubs for recreational purposes, but also obviously those sports clubs can be integrated into leagues. Um, yeah. So we get to the question: if the government can theoretically make plans for the most beautiful mega stadiums, then do we need private owners of sports clubs? Do we need investment when the government can just make a plan, build a stadium, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And obviously, I believe that it's very possible for the government to be able to have that capability. It's not something that's hard to do. I think it just takes a lot of willpower. What sports clubs should do? What should they offer? So specifically for primary, secondary, university schools, they should have nutritional plans and fitness regimes for their members. For kids, they should also those nutritional plans should maybe even be enforced by um, having sort of, I don't know, sort of food services at the clubs, etc. Sports clothing kits, both playing kits, also sports jackets, things like that. They should be issued by the club to all their members. The club should take care of their supplies, like if you're playing football, basically to provide the footballs that are necessary for playing and training, etc. Just as I talked about factory football societies, we can have other recreational football societies for older people, for younger people who don't have a lot of experience, who just want to play. and that infrastructure should be enabled, um, basically enabled for everyone. Yes. I've included esports here. It sort of also transitions into computer gadgets. Obviously, uh, computer game leagues are becoming more and more popular. Yeah. There should be some form of having these leagues in the country, or assisting players to join these leagues, etc. Obviously, for computer players, a national library of all the computer games in the world will be accessible domestically, and for free. So you want to play a game that you think is nice, you go to the national library, download it for free. Now, how is the library gonna get all those games? Well, um, I think initially they can make contracts to with the computer game manufacturers. They can make one-time contracts, pay a sum of money, etc., and then have the rights to distribute that game in the country. Um, um, there are a lot of up and coming game design groups and corporations, but very few of them actually make high quality games. The best thing we can do to nurture that sector is to allow people to create their own game societies, whether for playing, for studying, for producing games. Obviously, they'll be given office spaces, things like that. They can register their clubs. Large computer use leads to certain health problems. We have to also consider that, and why some people might not like the idea of having esports be marketed just like out there for the kids to see, because of the health problems that computer use can generate. So, national industry for sports equipment. This industry has to supply everyone with all their needs, various types of sports, not just common famous sports, but like every single sport. One thing to increase that is to have a national database of players and game history. So obviously that's very important for managing sort of all those clubs that are in the country, your primary school clubs, your university clubs, all those under 18, under 21, things like that. And really to let the government do that sort of data management, and then obviously we'll have certain uses. A national computer gadgets industry, obviously, to go with the esports and the game production industry. Um, I think those those should get an episode of their own, especially smartphones, computers, internet, infrastructure, telecom, things like that.